Hello, everyone. How have you been? It's been a while since I've done a podcast episode, and there are a lot of reasons for that. But I'm back, and I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. This episode is going to be kind of a housekeeping, kind of talking about what's been going on and what has kept me away from the microphone, and what the plans are for the future, because I do have a lot of plans going forward, and I hope that you are ready and excited for all the things that we're going to be doing here on Project Shadow.
Can you hear me? I have something to say.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Long time no chat, kinda, sorta, ish. But at least here on the podcast. My name is Charlie. I am a non-binary sci-fi fantasy writer, and my pronouns are they, them, or they, she, because I am a bit of a demigirl after all. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing fine. So, I went away for a while, and I want to sincerely apologize for that. And it was a problem. It was all of the problems. So, what happened? Well, long story short, my depression came back with a fiery, burning vengeance and tried to tear me completely and totally down. And I just did not have the energy to do much of anything. So I hate to say it this way because it sounds like I deprioritized some things over other things, and that's not what happened. But I had to do what I felt that I had energy for. So because the live streams are scheduled and people expect me to be there, I continue doing the live streams over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CEDorset. And that was a good decision. The community that we have developed over there is really, really wonderful and amazing. And if you are not a part of it, I highly recommend that you check it out sometime. If you're on the Discord, then you already know that these are just some amazing beings, and I don't think I could have gotten through the last few months without them. But it was one thing that I could force myself to do because I knew that there would literally be people waiting for the stream to start. And so I continued doing that. I kept promising that a story would come out, and so I just worked extremely hard to get the edits done for the first portion of Blinded Angels and Noble Sacrifice, and it's done. They are up over on Kindle Vella and over on the World Anvil site. You can check them out in both places. And then I got into a fight with Amazon, which I'm really not going to go into a lot of detail about here. I apologize for this. I don't like doing too much cross-promotion, as you know, but to try to get this solved, I was running around the internet telling the story over and over and over and over and over again, and it's very upsetting to tell it. So I made a video over on the YouTube channel that you can go check out if you want the full story. It's 3 videos in total, which explain how it started and how it got resolved. Long story short, I got locked out of my account at Amazon, which would have made it impossible for me to continue on as a writer. And long story short, I ended up getting an apology from somebody at the company, and they have reinstated the account. So yeah, there's been a lot. Oh, and I've been developing a tabletop role-playing game and a lot of other stuff. It's been a crazy time, but I am feeling better and feel like I can get back into my regular schedule of doing all the things that I love to do, including talking to y'all. So I'm here, and let's talk a little bit about plans for the future and, well, where I'm at in my life now. Shall we? So one of the most exciting things that has happened over this time is I have started work in earnest on Crypts and Wyverns, which is my epic fantasy series that I've talked about some on the stream. I've talked about it some on the podcast. I will definitely be talking about it a lot more because A, I'm rather obsessed with it, and B, I am going to be creating a tabletop role-playing game to go along with it, and I think that journey is going to be interesting for all of us along the way. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, and we'll shift course. But I have started work in earnest. The first story, book 0, is with the editors right now, and I'm waiting to get back the results of that so we can get ready. I am currently working on book 1 in the series. Book 1 is kind of an extended prologue explaining how everything got started, and I rather enjoy it. I like the characters. The characters will reappear in book 1, but I'm not going to go into that too much right now. But I've gotten started with this. This is my second work with a non-binary lead character. Blinded Angels is the first, and Ellis is my heart. Ellis has actually been gifted some of my actual memories, and that has made them very difficult to write sometimes because I'm a little close to some of the memories that Ellis has, though Ellis is not a full-on author insert character. Ghost, on the other hand, is not exactly like me, but is also a wonderful non-binary lead character. That story, which will be set in kind of my penultimate pastiche world, it is a collection of everything that I love, everything that I find dear and wonderful about the epic fantasy genre. It very clearly pays homage to all of my heroes, from J.R.R. Tolkien to Robert E. Howard to H.P. Lovecraft to, Nobuo Uematsu and Sakaguchi-san. I'm sorry, Sakaguchi-sama, that's what I meant to say, who created the Final Fantasy universe. It has so many homages to all of the things that I love and have loved over the years. Yet they have all come together to make what I think is a very fun and different fantasy world. And I don't know what I would be doing if I hadn't allowed myself to start doing this, because along with the community support that has really helped me get through this very dark period of my life, just the sheer monstrous goofiness of the Crypts and Wyverns world has really helped to get me through. I mean, as I am wont to say, what's not to love about it? It's a world with magical furries and murder radishes. I mean, how could you not like it? And while that is a gross simplification of both the Sadath and the Nefrir, it is on point with the story that we're telling. It is strange, it is bizarre, it is a bubble goth world through and through. And thanks to the kindness of everyone who has been donating and joining the memberships, either through Patreon or Ko-fi or over on Twitch, I'm very pleased to say we have the money to start getting artwork made. So I am very thrilled about that. I am currently looking for artists to get that done and figuring out exactly which pictures I want to do. I kind of want to do like not a playing card, not a tarot card, and not quite a card game style, but somewhere kind of a mishmash between the three for each character in the story, because I think that would be fun and amazing and a really, really cool thing to do. There's also a lot of other art that I want to get done, and I'm so thrilled that the community has jumped on board with these goals and has been helping me to fund that artwork. So I'm currently looking for artists. Hopefully the role-playing game will be playable soon, and we will actually be playtesting it on my Twitch channel. I'll give you more information when that starts. I will be taking that gameplay and posting it over on the YouTube channel for anybody who misses the live stream of it, but that should be a lot of fun. It's going to be me and my friends sitting around playing through the game in this amazing world, and we're going to be using Tailspire to do it. So that's the other thing, is Tailspire just announced that they are going to be supporting Hero Forge minis in there, which means we can actually have custom characters in the game, which is also thrilling. So yeah, I'm really excited about all that. Throughout this process, I have more than anything been working on new priorities, and that main priority that I've come back from this with, that I really feel that we all need to put first and foremost in our creative endeavors, is fun. It's just having fun with it. Because I had gotten into this headspace where everything was business, money, and not so much like I'm going to do this solely for the money, but really vetting everything through this lens of how commercial is this idea for this story or for this world or blah, 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 blah. And I'm just done with that. And a lot of that has come from starting to do my music again, which you can find wherever you listen to music. Just search for Project Shadow and you will find it. My latest single, Into the Dream Realm, came out just a couple weeks ago. And I'm really enjoying doing that. Music is something I do for me. It's not something that I do for other people. And it took a lot for me to start sharing it. And I did start sharing it this year. And the reaction has been amazing, because I'm not thinking about whether or not I want people to like the songs I'm doing. I'm not thinking about whether they're commercial, whether anybody will care. All I'm thinking about is this a song I like? Is this how I want it to sound? Is this making me happy in some way, shape, or form? And the reaction that I've been getting back from people has been so heartwarming. And to hear people starting to use it as background in their streams, on their videos, to hear people telling me how, especially like Into the Dream Realm has really helped them out. That song in particular was written on a very dark day where I didn't feel like doing anything. And I literally Googled what is the happiest key, and Google said F major, and I wrote a song in F major that would hopefully make me feel happy, and it did. And from what I'm hearing, it's doing that for other people as well. And that's really what I've learned, is by seeking what's best for me, for seeking what I enjoy, in seeking what it is that I want from my entertainment and from the work that I am doing. Other people are finding those same things in that work. So I don't have to worry as much about whether or not I'm writing the story in the way that will get the most sales. I mean, there are things I can do to maximize that, but honestly, I need to tell the story the way it wants to be told. I need to do all of the work in the way that it wants to be done. And just tell that part of my brain to shut up that is always harassing me. I mean, I kind of told it to tap down over the last couple of years, but it was still there. And now it's kind of, wearing a ball gag over in the corner of the room and not able to move because it's completely tied down. Because I just don't need that voice in my head right now. Because yeah, we live in a capitalist society and money is important. But at the same time, the intangibles that I've been getting from the work have far outweighed anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, watching when people do donate and send the bits in on the stream and everything, that is very great. I'm very grateful for all of that. But it's the community, it's the connections that I've made with people that really matter to me. And that's really what I want to have going forward. It's more of that kind of connection. And Yeah. So my priorities have really changed. I'm going to make stuff that I'm proud of and stuff that hopefully we as a community can go forward with. What more can I ask for? One of the things that took me the longest time to get back to doing the podcast is we talk a lot about media on this podcast. We talk a lot about the movies, the books, the TV shows, music that I really enjoy and that I think people should be paying attention to. And I wanted to really think about how I could do that in a way that adds something to the conversation that isn't just boring. Mike Ragnetta recently made a video talking about the struggles of being a creator and finding worth and value not only in your words but the platforms that you're on and that you're using. And I've been watching that video over and over and over again because there's part of me that feels like I'm just saying what other people are saying, and there's part of me that doesn't care. I've said this before in the past that the great secret of life is not caring about a lot of things, like a plethora of things. And that's kind of where I'm at now, because I want to be talking about Star Wars and Star Trek. Oh my goodness, the most recent season of Lower Decks has been amazing. And just a spoiler alert, the next episode or two will probably be about Motherland, Fort Salem, if you haven't watched it, because I am obsessed with this show and we haven't really talked about it all that much. I kind of did a season 1 wrap up after season 1 where I kind of liked it. Season 2 converted me into a hardcore fan of the show. So we're definitely going to be talking about that on the next episode. But yeah, I don't have to worry. And this is, I think, the big breakthrough that I had in my own life. I don't have to worry about whether or not it's timely. Because that's really been what's been holding me back, is there are things that I do want to talk about that are not new. And when you're stuck in this business mindset that has been imprisoning me over the last, decade, you know that you need to follow the trends. You need to, whatever's hot, you need to be talking about that. And sometimes I do. And sometimes I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to add, or I would much rather talk about something else. So, yeah. I'm going to give myself that freedom. And I'm also going to be asking y'all for, suggestions. What do you want to hear me blather on about at great length? Because I've also set some rules for myself. So we now have announcements for dates and whatnot for both the Wheel of Time and the Foundation series. And I thought about rereading both of those books to talk about how those are connected. Because I really enjoyed both book series. And I have decided against that. I really have, because honestly, at this point, I am much more interested in a good story than I am in a faithful adaptation to that story. I would much rather have them tell a very compelling narrative, either in that world or adjacent to it. And I got broken of my desire for a faithful adaptation by the most recent Dune trailers, because as anybody who's listened to this podcast long enough knows, I love Frank Herbert. I love Dune. Those are some of my favorite books ever, and I have so many feels about the trailers. Just too many. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna play that game because I feel like it is a game. There are things that you can do in a book that you can't do in a movie, and vice versa. And it's like with the Sandman audio book adaptations. Yes, there are things that I really miss from the books, but there are things that I really enjoy about the audiobooks. And I don't think it's fair to the audiobook to be doing that comparison. I started feeling this way when we watched Good Omens, which is now been greenlit for a second season. And yes, please. I'm really curious to see where they go. Very excited about that. And yeah, we're going to be talking about things. So get ready for us talking about Carnival Row, because season 2 of Carnival Row is coming up, and a lot of other things. But much more from a place of because I like it and not because I want to tear it apart. The hardest thing for me to cope with over the last several months has just been this realization that I have a lot of work that I want to do, that I may or may not ever get to write. Just because I have so many worlds in my head, I have so many stories in my head, and pushing myself to write more, to write harder, to write longer, it just isn't cutting it. It just isn't getting me where I need to be. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. It's shutting me down. It is preventing me from actually having the relationship I need to have with my stories and with my readers. And I'm not going to stand for that anymore. Yeah, I have an ideal word count that I would like to be hitting every day. I know where I want to be in my projects, but all of the stress and pain that I was putting myself through in order to get there is just something I can't afford anymore. I have depression. I have anxiety disorders. My joints hurt a lot. And there are days that productivity is sitting up in the chair. There are days when productivity is not hiding from the world. And I have to accept that about myself. That kind of radical self-acceptance is something that I've been able to pay lip service to for years, because it's what I know I need to do. But what I've learned, no, I'm not going to say it that way because it's not true. What you all have taught me through the streams and our Sunday hangout sessions on the Discord is that sometimes just showing up is enough. And that's been a really hard thing for me to learn. I have a very mama bear instinct about me, where I want to be there and fully helpful and supporting for others. And if I'm not able to give my all, I feel like I'm failing not only myself, but everyone else. And what you all have taught me is that even in my darkest moments, when I'm literally talking to myself, to give myself the energy to go forward and move, there are other people out there that need to hear that as well. You've taught me that I'm not alone, and that is a very powerful lesson. It's something that, like, in the back of my head, I knew it, but I never really knew it. Because I've never been a part of a community like this one that has no expectations. I mean, usually if somebody gave me something, they wanted something in return, or if somebody said something nice to me, it was to butter me up because they were about to ask something. Like, just the compassion and the goodness that you all have for one another and for me has been liberating. I always dreamed of being part of a community like this, and I never imagined finding one. To me, it was like that last unicorn moment, right? It's that maybe someday in some far-flung future universe where perfection has somehow been achieved. But no, it's here, and we're all struggling together. We're not lying about who we are or what we're going through. We're all being very honest with each other. But you've really taught me to be grateful for what I have, because I didn't know I could have it. And I say it on the stream all the time. Thank you all so much for being the wonderful, wonderful beings that you are. You've worn through the cynical outer shell that I've been encased in for decades, and I will never be able to repay any of you for the kindness, the compassion, and the friendship that you have shown me over the last few months. Thank you. And finally, I just want to invite everybody to join me as we wander down this path together. Because that's really what we are now. For years, I've felt like one lone voice talking into the darkness, just sitting in my office, putting sound out into the universe, just talking blankly. And not knowing, well, I don't want to say not knowing if anybody's listening, because there's always been those few of you who have contacted me over time. But not feeling like anything that I did mattered. And what you all have taught me over the last few months is it's the little things that we do that matter. It's not always the big things, the big gestures, the huge things. The fact that a friend of mine is making me a bag right now because she saw the yarn and thought of me. That feels like such a foreign and strange idea to me, because I have not had those friends, those kinds of friends, for a very long time. And I don't like saying it out loud because it reminds me how sad and lonely my life has really been for such a long time. But thank you. Thank you all so very, very much for being there for me and for each other. And I really look forward to this journey that we're going to be going on together. I will be interviewing people more on the show. I can't guarantee how often interviews will be happening, but I will be bringing more people on to talk about things. I have already set up a discussion with a few friends about a few different topics, and I'm really looking forward to recording those episodes, and I hope that you will enjoy them too. And I want to know what you all want. In the show notes, wherever they are in the podcast app that you're listening to me on, you will find links to my social medias, to Twitter, Instagram, to the Twitch channel, to the YouTube. And you can use those to contact me and let me know what all you want me to be talking about. I'm still going to be talking about my writing journey on this podcast, but most of the writing specific discussions are going to be happening over on the companion podcast, Myth Weaving. And I hope that you enjoy that podcast. I've been hearing some very positive things from you all. The next season of that should be getting recorded soon, especially now that I've got my oomph up to start recording again. And just thank you. Thank you all so much. But let me know, what do you want to talk about? Definitely in the Discord. Let's get some conversations going and go forward together. I wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for all of you and your wonderful, wonderful support. So just thank you. And thank you for indulging me on this episode where I kind of explain what's been going on with me and what y'all have done, whether you know it or not, to help this poor fool out. Alrighty. Thank you for listening. Remember, we live in a nightmare hellscape that is not going to get any better if we don't actively go out there and try to make it better. So, whatever you can do to stop Asian hate, try to do that. Remind the idiots who do not believe that Black Lives Matter, that Black Lives Matter, that Black trans lives matter, and that trans identities are magical. And until next time, may you have the courage to write your dreams into reality. And don't forget to have the fun. Bye.